Spectacle. People like spectacle, and you know what personifies spectacle? Big transforming robots that punch other big transforming robots and make things go boom. The live-action Transformers franchise is a financial juggernaut, to say the least. Together, 7 films have grossed over $5 billion worldwide already, with the lowest performer so far being this one, grossing a mere $439 million. That's pretty solid overall performance for a franchise that somehow seems to be completely bulletproof when it comes to critic or even audience scores, with only 1 of the 7 certified fresh. For the other 6, the Rotten Tomatoes critic scores sit between a low of 16% and a high of only 57%. Audience scores don't fare much better, with the original Transformers sitting at an 85% audience rating. After that, the ratings drop off a cliff, eventually going as low as 43%. It's pretty much the same story for the IMDb ratings. Somehow though, with these abysmal scores, the franchise is probably one of Paramount's biggest moneymakers. So, of course they're going to milk this franchise till there's nothing left. With this latest installment, they announced that this one would be the first of a new trilogy. They also tie another toy run into this universe at the end of the movie. Gotta have that Hasbroverse! So, as you can see, not as many people went to see this transforming robot movie as the previous ones. Does that mean this movie is bad? To be fair, are any of the previous ones really good? Let's start with... it's not great, but it's also not awful. It's a perfectly serviceable summer blockbuster movie. It's one with the big, familiar transforming robots and a few new ones making a lot of things go boom. Story-wise, there's not a lot going on, but that just gets in the way of showing big transforming robots punching things and creating chaos. And now it's doing pretty stellar on streaming, topping charts on Netflix at the moment. So, you may ask, what's the plot about again? Let's get through this quickly as there's not too much to cover. We are first introduced to Unicron. He's the biggest big bad in the Transformers universe, sort of like Galactus in the Marvel universe. Unicron is a hungry fellow. He has a planet-sized appetite and the next one is some random planet. He sends his first lieutenant, Scourge, the leader of the Terracons, to go scout said random planet and find the movie's MacGuffin. It's some sort of a thingamajig that enables instant travel to anywhere at any time. On this random planet we're introduced to the Maximals. They're a faction of the Transformers like the Autobots that we're familiar with. These ones look like animals. How? Why? We never get told, they just do. The Autobots took the form of vehicles on Earth, but we don't see any animals on this random planet. Anywho, they are the guardians of the MacGuffin thingamajig. Their leader falls at the hand of Scourge after anointing their new leader, Optimus Primal. While the others get away. Unicron isn't super happy with Scourge, but still snacks on the planet. We're in the present on Earth now. It's 1994. Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump and Lion King were released that year, and it was Friends' debut season. Jim Carrey had Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber and The Mask in theaters. Oasis, Nine Inch Nails, Beastie Boys and Blur ruled the charts. Beefaroni, Hot Pockets and Lunchables were a thing. Netscape browser was launched and it was the first year that cookies were introduced to the internet. It was also the year the PlayStation launched. We meet Noah. He's a good kid but in financial trouble because his brother is really sick and the American healthcare system sucks for poor people.
Okay, what are the rules?
Bros before hoes.
Because of this, he gets a job where he has to steal a special Porsche, but the Porsche kidnaps him instead. We're also introduced to our other protagonist, Elena. She's just an intern at the New York Museum of Archaeology, but she knows just about everything from any era. Both Noah and Elena are from some city, I can't remember. Maybe they'll let me know where they're from and it won't get irritating.
Christopher Diaz from 974 Wilson Avenue, apartment 2C, Brooklyn.
And it's my first time leaving New York.
So the Bronx, huh?
Brooklyn, all right? East New York all day.
I'm from Bushwick. Tony's Pizza?
From Wilson Avenue, apartment 2C, Brooklyn, New York.
I'm never leaving Brooklyn again.
Brooklyn, baby! I was raised out in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, baby.
She gets her hands on a random artifact that just so happens to be one half of the MacGuffin thingamajig that was left here on Earth. While she's checking out the MacGuffin, she breaks it.
I'm gonna lose my job.
and Noah meets the Autobots.
I'm nobody. I ain't even seen nothing. I'm not even seeing anything right now.
They tell him that the MacGuffin thingamajig is emitting some skybeam that they can see but humans cannot,
What the hell am I looking at?
and that he has to go steal it.
We finally found a way home.
What we need is a quiet way in.
Ooh, how about him?
It is a bad idea.
Got him. He's in, baby. Woo!
The skybeam has caught the attention of Scourge and his gang of Terracons, and they're on their way to come get it. Unicron is hungry after all. Noah runs into Elena, and the Autobots run into the Terracons.
Guys, we got company.
Noah and Elena survives getting blown up and chaos ensues. Scourge plays with Optimus Prime and then kills Bumblebee. The Terracons get away with the MacGuffin thingamajig. Unicron's gonna be so happy. Only he's not. It's only half of the MacGuffin. Whoopsie! We're told that the Maximals are part of our past and our future, but they're here in our present.
A warrior from both your past and future.
That's deep. We then get some exposition dumping and lore explaining spoon-fed to us, and then we're off to Peru because intern Elena figured out the code. In Peru, Elena does some Indiana Jonesing and figures out exactly where they should go. There, she also immediately figures out what to do in order to get into a whole undiscovered underground city. Scourge and his gang followed them there and are also in Peru. Noah and Elena get chased into the jungle after not finding the other half of the MacGuffin,
You had a gun this whole time.
and there they run into the Maximals. While that happens, the Autobots have a good old chase with the Terracons and a big old brawl. They get away and also meet up with the Maximals. Eraser was tagged by Scourge, and that's gonna go pretty badly soon. The Maximals tell them that they entrusted the other half of the MacGuffin to a small human village nearby.
What if we didn't destroy it?
I can't feel like this. I can't let my family down.
Like a beast of burden?
The next day, Scourge's tag on Eraser makes her crazy, and then she helps the Terracons to get the other half of the MacGuffin, and promptly gets killed right after that. She did all the exposition dumping she needed to, so no point in keeping her in the story any longer. This will also save some of that VFX budget. The Terracons take the MacGuffin to a mountaintop that's surprisingly close to where it was kept all these years. They activate it and bring Unicron into this time and universe, so that he can feast on Earth. The Autobots and Maximals are sad, but Noah tells them to get over it because they gotta save Earth. Optimus Primal tells them that luckily the structure for the MacGuffin has tunnels for some bizarre reason, and that those tunnels happen to be human-sized, so that Noah and Elena can use them to get to the MacGuffin and input the abort code, which the structure also conveniently has. Elena, the very smart intern, has also figured out what the abort code is. Time for the final battle, which looks like a Temu version of the Avengers Endgame fight, all with dark grey CG fighting arena, disposable robot army, and a big boss that they need to get to in order to stop the invasion. A lot of fighting happens and Mirage decides to go after the big bad. As you'd expect, it doesn't go well. He sort of dies and becomes a suit for Noah. The suit is sort of a weird mix between an Iron Man and Ant-Man suit. Finally, a human can actually help the big robots fight. In all of this, Bumblebee is alive again, because Energon, and does some cool stuff after jumping out of another robot. Through the power of teamwork, they defeat the enemy and destroy the portal.
I got this.
Till all are one.
Back home, Noah goes to a work interview, and it ends up being the G.I. Joes. Yes, those G.I. Joes, wanting to recruit Noah. The end. So what did I think of the movie? It was okay. It's a movie that has some cool moments with a lot of nothing in between. It has all the fan service you'd want with decent action sequences and okay VFX. It's the perfect movie for streaming. It's not demanding in any way, will keep you entertained for 2 hours, and by the end of it, you'll have forgotten most of what just happened. So what went wrong with this movie? Okay, fine. Let's do the bad stuff first. For a start, this movie has some huge gaping plot holes and creates a bunch of issues for the continuity of the franchise. If the Maximals are stuck on Earth, why do we never see them in any of the current day movies? Are they such dicks that they won't help the Autobots? I mean, they trusted the humans with the MacGuffin thingamajig when Optimus didn't trust humans.
We should not be relying on a human.
You're also telling me that no one, including astronauts in space, saw the huge planet-sized structure? Same thing goes for the continuity with the G.I. Joes. Why aren't they helping out in the current day movies? That's always going to be the problem when jumping back in time in franchises. I also didn't like that the movie had to spoon-feed us the exposition info. There's so many other ways they could have done that better. Show, don't tell. The writers just weren't very creative with this one and didn't really try to go anywhere interesting with the story. They rather decided to retrace some old storylines. Remember the story of the young protagonist who finds a new car that ends up being a transformer? Definitely haven't seen that before. Or twice before. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The action sequences, although serviceable, are nothing special. Yes, a lot of things go boom, big transforming robots punch each other, shoot random things, and chase scenes happen. But you can definitely see that the director, Stephen Caple Jr., hasn't directed any action movies before. You can say what you will about Michael Bay, but the dude knows how to create bayhem. There's a certain frenetic energy to the action in the earlier movies that's completely lacking in this one. And then the VFX. I know that most of this isn't the VFX artist's fault, but rather the big companies overworking them and reducing margins on VFX contracts to the point that most struggle to stay open. And that's exactly what happened here. Where all the previous movies' VFX were mainly handled by ILM, this one's VFX was done by MPC, and it was only because they came in cheaper than ILM. And it backfired badly, since some characters and sequences had to be cut. Here's looking at you, Rat Trap. They even had to get Weta in to completely redo the final battle. I wouldn't say the VFX were awful, but they were definitely not on par with previous entries. While on the VFX topic, most of the robot designs were pretty solid. The alternate designs of the Maximals in the final battle weren't great, but they were functional at least. Interesting fact, Scourge's vehicle form was a homage to Steven Spielberg, who has been the executive producer for all these live-action Transformers movies. His truck was designed to look like the truck from Steven's old movie, Duel. And Wheeljack? What the fuck happened there? How did he go from this to this? The Maximals were also pretty wasted in this film. There were rumors that there would be a Beast Wars Transformers movie at some point, and many thought that this was going to be it. And for those who don't know what Beast Wars are, it's this.
What could I do? Do you think?
But the Maximals are only in the prologue, and then we see Airraiser to help with exposition dumping, and then only again 2/3 through the movie do we see the other Maximals again. And then a lot of that is standing around and talking, till the final battle. And then we get this moment with both Optimus Prime and Primal.
Maximals! Autobots! Roll out!
Animals don't roll! The big bad was also a bit disappointing. Unicron is supposed to be the ultimate big bad, but in this he's kinda pathetic. He's stuck in a certain time and place, completely at the mercy of Scourge, and Scourge doesn't feel unique, he feels like a badly acted Megatron. Something I both disliked and liked was Mirage. The character was funny at points.
I don't think we can hold these guys. Oh, no! Cool, you're still alive.
But also tried to constantly be jokey, and a lot of the jokes just didn't land.
Oh, they're flying now? Who the hell are these guys? Get off me! I hate spiders! Oh, shit. Just don't ask what part of my body it came from. A Mirage, remember?
Did you know that they used that specific Porsche as a homage to Michael Bay? It's the same model that Mike Lowry drives in Bad Boys. Elena was also both positive and negative for me. Her character was nice enough and you never got the girl boss vibes from her. The convenient knowledge about basically all of history and the quick easy figuring out of things that were hidden for centuries from scholars was just a little too convenient. I did like that she sort of anchored Noah, and the two of them worked well as a human team. On to the positives. The era. It's the 90s. A lot of movies had done the 80s in the last while, including Bumblebee, so it was cool to see this era represented. The New York they represented in the 90s version felt authentic. It also lent itself to some cool tunes from the Wu-Tang Clan. I also like Noah. Although his backstory is cliched as hell, He comes off as a good person caught up in a bad situation, trying to make the best of it. Damn, that is cliched. Although the suit looked kinda cheeseballs, it was cool to finally see a human in the fight and kicking some robot ass. So where to next? Well, like I said before, this is the first in a planned trilogy of new movies to be released, so expect more of the same. I guess with the G.I. Joe tie-in, there's some opportunities for new storytelling, but I doubt it. See, the Joes are essentially soldiers. We already had soldiers assisting the robots in the previous movies, so they'd have to be careful not to retread old storylines. But since this franchise seems both critic and audience-proof, they may not give a damn and just redo old stuff, because they can. I joke about the franchise being critic and audience-proof, but the cracks are definitely showing. The third and fourth movies made more than $1 billion at the box office each, and then came along The Last Night, which also happened to be the worst review movie of the whole franchise. That movie's worldwide gross dropped all the way down to $600 million, which, to be fair, is still a solid chunk of cash. But that started the downhill slide, and both Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast have kept that slide going. It's not MCU levels of bad money yet, but the trajectory has been downhill for 3 movies in a row now. So there you have it. Rise of the Beast is a perfectly middle-of-the-road franchise installment, at a time when many franchises are struggling to even get that right. There's a reason it's topping streaming charts. It's the quintessential Friday night, Netflix and actually chill movie. It's not fantastic, but you're not going to feel like you just wasted 2 hours on this. And if you do get bored, it probably still is a good Netflix and chill movie. Anywho, that's me signing off.